I am 6'4", 220 pounds, and I was able to fill out my frame so I look big in a t-shirt, big in public, big in the gym. Wherever I go, I mog. How was I able to fill out my tall frame? If you clicked on this video, obviously you're a tall guy, and you should know that the taller you are, the harder it is to fill out your frame. A lot of times in my life, I'd be wearing a t-shirt or out in public, out with my friends or whatever, and I just feel skinny. I'd feel a little self-conscious about that feeling because I was so tall that it just made my physique look way skinnier than what I actually was. Because when you reach a height of over 6'2", you have more frame to fill out, right? You see guys that are 5'4", 5'6", they hop in a gym, they pick up a dumbbell, and they already look like Mr. Olympia. Well, that's not the case for us tall guys. But the good thing is, if you're a tall person and you can manage to fill out your physique, you will absolutely mog whoever you see. By no means have I maxed out my physique. I'm 20 years old. I've been lifting for about 4 years, but I have managed to build a pretty good foundation on my tall 6'4" frame. By the way, I'm standing behind a door because I just wanted you guys to see how I match up against the door so you guys know I'm not lying. I'm not actually 5'2", but who knows? But anyways, context matters. There's two different types of people. Me personally, I grew up a chubbier, skinny, fat kid. A lot of my friends, they grew up a very lean, skinny kid. So if you grew up a very lean, skinny kid, you will be classified as an ectomorph. Me that grew up a little bit chubbier with a higher body fat percentage, I would be classified as an endomorph. Now, since I'm an endomorph, when I finally hit my growth spurt, the weight kind of distributed more throughout my body equally, and I already looked kind of bigger than the average person. But if you're an ectomorph, you're a naturally skinnier guy, leaner guy. Guys like David Lade, they grew up very skinny. He's a tall guy. He was able to fill out his physique better than anyone else. Another thing, when you're a tall person, you know, you could be using your body for different sports. Me personally, I grew up playing hockey. I grew up playing basketball. And, you know, when you're playing these endurance sports, you naturally tend to slim out. At one point, I was 6'3", 180 pounds. I was quite slim. I looked good, but I was still slim. And you know, when you're slim and you're playing sports like that, it's obviously beneficial for your sport. Like when I was playing basketball and I was 180 pounds, I was yamming on mans, I was Euro stepping through mans, whatever it is. That's the best physique to have in that sport. A lean, slim, tall physique. But then when I stopped playing basketball, I shifted my focus towards health and fitness, and I started to fill out my physique. I went on a massive bulk. I went from about 180 pounds lean, and the biggest I ever got was 240 pounds. Now summer's around the corner and I'm cutting down. I'm back at 220 pounds, but I've still been able to achieve a physique that looks good in a t-shirt, looks good when I'm out about. Even though I'm tall, I still fill out the frame pretty good. So I'm going to tell you exactly how you can fill out your frame as a tall man. So if you're an ectomorph, chances are you grew up looking like David Lade. Skinny as a rail, no body fat on your body, absolutely no chest whatsoever. The thing you would want to do to fill out your frame as a tall ectomorph is simple. You just gotta eat more. Shout out to Rich Piana. If you're not getting bigger, just eat more. That's all it is. You have to gain weight. If you're over the height of 6'2" and you're not weighing over 200 pounds, then I'm sorry to tell you this, you're probably very skinny. And when you walk outside, you might blow away in the wind, so you have to be careful. So if you're over 6'2", your main priority should be to bulk up over 200 pounds. This is the thing that matters the most. Time. You need time, you need patience. You need to have at least 2 years in the gym before you start looking big in a t-shirt, in regular clothing. And you also have to have at least 2 years so you can bulk up past that 200-pound weight limit. So time and patience are the two things you need to absolutely fill out your frame as a skinnier guy. For me, I grew up an endomorph. Like I said, I was a chubbier kid growing up. So for me, what I had to do is I had to cut down, reconk my body fat percentage. So I had to get rid of all my fat and get to a lower body fat percentage. And then I had to build my physique back up to what it was, but with a way lower body fat percentage. And that's why I'm able to look so good in regular clothing, because I have lots of muscle on my body that I've built up over the years. I have a relatively low body fat percentage compared to my weight, which is 220 pounds. And I've managed to distribute the weight across my body properly. What do I mean by this? Well, when you're tall, I can tell you the best muscle groups that you really want to focus on if you want to look big in a t-shirt, big in regular clothing. The short answer is you want to focus on all your muscles in order to look bigger as a tall guy. But I'm going to tell you some muscle groups that you can emphasize in order to really enhance your physique as a tall guy. So number one, I'd say, is arms. You have to really be hitting arms. You want to be training your biceps with volume. You want to be training your triceps with heavy weight. You really want to blow up your arms, because when you're wearing a t-shirt, your arms are the first thing that everyone sees. So prioritize blowing up your arms. The next muscle group that you want to work on is just getting that V-taper look. Hitting your shoulders, making your shoulders bigger, focusing on your delts. The bigger and wider your shoulders are and the wider your back is, the bigger you'll look in a tall frame. If you're looking like a string bean and you're over 6'2", you're not gonna look big whatsoever. You need to be able to have that wide physique because you have more height to cover for. So you need to compensate by having wider clavicles. And the last muscle group that you should really work on emphasizing is your chest. Because when you wear a t-shirt, your chest is the thing that just pops out. It makes you look bigger in general. I would recommend targeting your upper chest more because the upper chest is a part of the chest that's underdeveloped on most people. So you really want to hammer down on those incline dumbbell workouts. So yes, those are the 3 biggest muscle groups that you want to focus on in order to look bigger and fill out your frame as a tall guy. Other than that, like I said, you should be eating, filling out your physique. If you're not over 200 pounds and you're over the height of 6'2", the chances are you're very small. So you want to get over that 200-pound mark if you're over 6'2", and you'll start to look very good. I'm telling you, I'm 6'4", 220 pounds. I look good, I feel good, I'm very capable. I can still play every single sport and I still have endurance, I still have strength. But like I said earlier, the main thing that you need if you're a skinnier person or someone that just doesn't look big as a tall guy is time and patience. So just get in the gym, make sure you're getting your meals in, work on those muscle groups that I told you to emphasize, and in no time, you'll start to look amazing in a t-shirt, amazing in regular clothing. You'll start to mog everyone you see in public. That's exactly how I was able to fill out my physique as a 6'4", 220-pound man. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.